What's up, guys? Dave with Miracle Canine Training, out here with new board and train Forrest. Obviously, we've been kind of bouncing around these last few videos with all the different board and trains we have in. We are slammed right now with board and trains, so we still are operating. We got lots of dogs in. We got lots of dogs to update you guys on and to make DIY videos on. Forrest is no exception here. He got dropped off last night. He is here for some pretty serious human aggression issues. I don't think they're as intense as his owners think they are, but he did really try to give us a hard time yesterday. We have some video of that we will attach in the video here. And overall, he is just a big boy that is very difficult to control. So what we are trying to do right now is we're trying to work on some of the walking related things. We've done a couple sessions so far today of basic leash pressure work on the prong collar. He's done great with that. He is taking food, even though he's kind of big right now. He is still relatively food driven, so that is helping us a little bit in kind of getting him comfortable with us, getting him working with us in a positive way. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start a process of conditioning in the e-collar with the walk. So you guys have seen some videos on this. We did a video with Major of part 1 and part 2 of the walk. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going through part 1 of the walking with him, which is utilizing the continuous pressure on the e-collar in order to teach and establish the heel position. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go for a little walk here. Anytime he gets ahead of me, I'm going to press and hold the button on the e-collar, back him up with the leash, and release when he gets slightly behind me. Before we go ahead and get started, what we need to do is we need to figure out what his working level is. So what that is a level that we could tell he is motivated by and senses, but isn't like over the top too much. So we're going to start at 0, go up, give a tap, go up, give a tap until we see some sort of sign he is feeling it. Again, this is something we do anytime we start our first couple of walks, is make sure we have a consistent level we know that he's motivated by, that we have a starting place for. So let's get cruising. So right about there, you can see kind of that flinch. That's at about a 20 out of 100 here. So that is going to be our starting place, and we will see what we get here. So let's go ahead and start walking. So like I said, anytime he gets ahead, pressing and holding that button, backing him up, pressing and holding, backing him up, gradually going up or down on that level as I need to, so that I could find somewhere where it feels like the e-collar is doing essentially 75% of the work, and the leash is just doing about 25%. So gradually increasing. We're up a little bit higher here right now. We're at about a 34. And I'm just increasing it, like I said, based on what I'm feeling every time I do it. I want to feel that he is doing a lot of the work on his own because he's motivated by that e-collar, not just because this leash is kind of strong-arming him into position. Now, just like in the Major video, a lot of times we'll find the dogs are very concerned if you're walking kind of near somebody like this. Josh being back into the left a little bit is obviously a little distracting for him. So we're just working him past it, making sure he's realizing what that boundary is. And like I said, any time that I am using the leash right now, I am also pairing in continuous e-collar pressure with that. We're looking to see him start to kind of relax into that position and start to understand where that perimeter is. Like we talked about a little bit in the Major video, if we have dogs that come in with aggression issues or like, you know, more intense behavioral issues than just like a puppy that we're looking to slow down a little bit. Big truck coming up here. You can tell obviously very concerned about. If we have a dog that comes in with more serious behavioral issues, our first goal here with them is slow them down. You could tell this kind of frantic energy of like being concerned about this and lunging towards this and trying to check this out and all that kind of stuff is what's getting him into trouble with his owners right now. It's that lack of impulse control, aggression or reactivity or any of the above is typically, and again, loud truck going by, that time he did much better with that. But that typically is a result of that lack of impulse control. They're just moving towards things and trying to grab things, and though they may not be trying to be super vicious or mean or anything like that, they get themselves into serious trouble and they land a bite, and you know, that mark on them obviously is not going to do them any good. So looking to slow them down, get them under control, get them realizing that You can't do those things. You have to be able to focus in around these types of distraction. And what's going to happen is as he gets comfortable with doing that and understanding the expectation and focusing on his handler, all of those other things are going to start to get a little less scary, a little less scary, a little less scary. And you see already starting to fall a little bit more into that heel position here. I'm starting to have a much more slack leash as we're going. And we're doing our typical route here of going up and into this park. Now this particular street in Cleveland is always very busy. There's always a lot of traffic, trucks, buses, pedestrians walking. We have an RTA stop across the street in the park, obviously. So the first couple times we go to walk the dogs can be really overwhelming for them when we're doing this. So we're just focusing through it. But the good thing is we are training for the real world right now. We're making sure under high distractions, he is still able to focus and pay attention here. And like I said, still a little distracted. He's still glancing around and stuff, but on a much more loose leash, starting to maintain that position. You'll see even as I slow down, he's paying attention to where it is that he needs to be here. Again, scanning a lot. And that's the biggest thing we're going to be looking to address here is just create that communication so that we can move into stage 2 of the walking, which we did film with Major as well that I'm sure you guys saw, and show you guys how we go about finishing this and getting it look even a little bit better. I'm purposely walking at a nice slow pace here. I'm making sure that he is focusing on me instead of the other distractions. See, I'm starting to get a little bit of tension out of him. He's doing really well with this. We tend to find that the slower we walk, the more difficult it is for the dogs to maintain. They're asked to focus a little bit more. They can't just get into autopilot and get cruising and stuff. So as they do good with it, I tend to slow that pace down, just focus on controlling my pace and make sure he's matching it like that. And still sitting at about a 35 on this e-collar, and that is for this particular dog. That level's going to adjust all the time. Just go off of how the dog is responding when you're doing this. Make sure that if you've confirmed the e-collar is on tight enough and that it is on, if your dog is not altering their behavior and getting better with this, that you're increasing that level gradually over the course of the walk until they start to slow down and get into the groove of things. There is no reason why over the course of 1 to 2 walks, you can't get that walk looking really, really good, dramatically better than it was before. I mean, you're seeing it in these videos that we're posting. This is his first walk here right now. We have not taken him on this route before. We have not done any e-collar training with him up until this exact moment. You see he's starting to figure it out and understand what's expected of him. And that's because we're being consistent with the criteria of what that heel position is. And in addition to that, we're being motivating enough with the level on the e-collar in addition to that consistency. Again, you see, starting to get really loose on that leash. And he's starting to do a fantastic job of maintaining that position. This is what we're looking for here. And elapsed time is like 7 to 10 minutes or something so far. It has not been very long, but because of that consistency we're providing, we're getting a lot of good work out of him. Good boy. Come. As you're going and he's doing well, you could add in some pace changes if you'd like. This will get more in depth in the second stage of this training, but You also can follow them a little bit in this step as he's doing well. That's just making sure as you're slowing down, he's slowing down with you on a loose leash. If you speed up and then slow down, he's still following you without the need of much leash help. And if he doesn't, obviously using the leash and the e-collar to help him. Excellent. Looking really great here. Really good 24-hour transformation so far from where he started. Good boy. Good job.